Hey, what's up, guys? This is Eric Gideson. For those who don't know me, I'm a real estate agent. I sell quite a bit of property, and also I operate as the sales manager for a team called the Honest Agent Real Estate Team. You guys are on my team. You're seeing this. What's up, guys? We're from the Ironman Group. Hope you guys are having a great meeting. So today we're going to talk about time management. I'm going to give you kind of an overview of what I do and some of the best practices, and you can decide to adopt the entire time management strategy that I utilize, or just bits and pieces and little nuggets here and there. So let's dive right into it. One of the steps is a review of last week. So I'm actually going to do that first so you guys get an idea of kind of what we're looking at here. So, oops, let me make sure I get my screen share on here. And share screen, boom. All right, hopefully you guys can see that. So I'm going to just show my calendar for last week. So here we go. This was the 26th through the 1st of September. Now you can see there's different color coordination tasks throughout the day. Now all the tasks are in green. These are my non-negotiable tasks. These are tasks that are scheduled that either I can't move, or it's difficult to move, or I shouldn't want to move them. And these are your one-on-one, like in-person meetings typically, or team sessions. Also, you guys will notice I have other calendars on here that are linked up to my Google Gmail calendar. If you're not using Gmail, I highly recommend switching because the interface is very easy to use. So for example, these conference room reservations, right? These are everything gray. I can toggle that on and off, okay? But I also can see exactly where my appointments are at. Okay, see that there? Perfect. So starting off on Monday, I started on my one-on-one sessions at 9 a.m., had sessions throughout the day with my last appointment at 6:30. Obviously, I had some other stuff beyond that. So right here, prep from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Okay, this is my color coordination for my flex time, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Some of the stuff that I do for fun is scheduled in purple here, and gym, for example, I have as a priority item, but it's my second priority. My number one priority is basically advancing my sales force. So our team sales force. So therefore it's a different color coordination, but it is one of my top priorities is to hit the gym. So it's scheduled in red. So let's look at how I'm getting this into the calendar. Okay. Right here is my ongoing to-do list. So this was up until 8/2. Okay. And I have different color coordination for each one. In progress, completed, missed or abandoned, or tabled. Okay. And you can see all the different things that I had on my to-do list and where they fall in the process. So for example, things I missed or abandoned. Actually, of all things, I missed joining the Ironman fantasy draft. I didn't register to renew a real estate license, and I missed contact with these 4 different clients because I had a really busy week. Okay, now let's look at some of the good stuff that I did. Was everything in yellow was completed, okay, and everything in green was worked on, but was not finished and is still in process. Everything in white was simply tabled, okay? Now, let's look at the process real quick. How do I get to this? How do you guys build this out for yourself, okay? This is time management. There's a 5-step process, and there's little mini steps within each one. Let's go through these quickly. Step 1, this is your info drop. So what is an info drop? Also known as like a brain dump. Basically anything that you utilize to store information, whether it's email, text messages, your last week's to-do list, calendar, physical mail, notepads, anything in your head, tangible items around the house, like looking to do your laundry, for example, your work systems. You're going to compile all this different information, get it all down on paper for things that you need to complete, okay? Step 2, you need to label and estimate your time, okay? So 2A is timing. So basically, once I have all these tasks down, what I encourage you guys to do is then think about each task. If you haven't already timed how long it takes you to do each task, like for me, for example, it takes me an hour and 15 minutes to get to the gym typically, with a warm-up time, enough time to do 5 working sets, etc., and some type of cardio at the end of my session. So typically get through it in about an hour and 15 minutes. Now, the best practice is to give yourself, if you're not timing these things, start timing them, okay? Otherwise, give an estimation. And when you give your estimation, when you start out, give yourself a 10 to 20% buffer. And here's why. University of Waterloo concluded people always project the best case scenario, not the average case scenario. So if your gym time is typically 90 minutes, give yourself an hour and 45 minutes on your calendar, okay? 2B, labeling. Provide a color-coordinated label for each task based on type of task, okay? So some are time-specific. These are my appointments that I can't really change. Some of these are like secondary priorities that I don't want to change. For example, gym time is red for me, okay? And some of these things are day-specific tasks or week-specific tasks. Those are typically your flex time, specifically in a working environment. So for me, all my work-related items that are day-specific or week-specific, they're going to have the color coordination of yellow, because those can be flexed out and added in between different other working parts of my day. Step 3, you're going to schedule into your calendar, okay? So put your time-specific points in first, and then start scheduling your number 1 priority, followed by your secondary and tertiary priorities. So for example, my number 1 priority, my time-specific appointments correlate with my number 1 priority. Those are my weekly team trainings and my accountability sessions that other people recount on a recurring basis. I'm not switching those time periods ever, okay? And secondly, you know, I'm looking at my number 1 priority, which is helping my team. So any people that I know on my team that need additional help or I need to get back to, I'm going to schedule those in. Then I'm going to go for my secondary appointments, or my secondary priorities for me is the gym, and then so on down the list, okay? Next thing, here's another little tidbit. This is 3F. I know it's not highlighted here, but 3F. Look, if anything that you're not ready to work on this month, put it in a futures project tab, whether it's on your desktop computer or laptop or on a notepad on your phone. Just have a place where you compile your future projects or ideas or things that you've tabled for more than a month, okay? Additionally, you should have a reference folder, an archive folder. Typically, people resort to like an email for this, or a Google Drive would be great for this, or a specific folder on your computer would be fantastic for anything that you'll want to reference quickly, but not typically working on real time. Everything else, if you can't decide that it's important to do it, or feel like you're ever going to end up following through with it, just trash it. One of the biggest things about time management and productivity in general is being able to say no to things that aren't in line with what you're trying to build or what you're trying to accomplish or how you're trying to live your life, okay? So just be ready to trash things, okay? You can always revisit them later, but just get rid of them. That's my encouragement to you guys. Step 4, perform, edit, move, and add. So obviously check off stuff as they complete, edit the lengths of things if they go longer or they take shorter amounts of time, edit those time periods real time, move tasks, okay, to necessary time slots as needed. Schedule all day, week specific activities that are movable as a flex time color. So mine is yellow typically for my work related, just basically most of my flex time in general is a yellow, okay? So other things like, for example, I'm going out to eat or doing other things, I have like a light blue color. Schedule everything else around these appointments and go from high priority down to low priority, okay? Now, step 5, review, reconcile, and repeat. So just make sure you check this thing once a week or more often. I check it daily, and just make sure you're reviewing it, figuring out how you're doing, reconcile the activity. Be sure to label existing tasks with new estimated times that are left on it, and then repeat this. This is all about consistency, guys. The more often that you do this, the better off you're going to be with your time management. This is not going to happen overnight. So when you first start out, maybe you only hit 50% of your calendar at the exact time you schedule it. But the more you repeat, the more consistent you get, you might get to 80 to 90%, which is why I'm currently operating about 80 to 90% efficiency based on how I'm calendaring out my weeks. So let's actually jump into real-time example. So this is my week last week. Let's look at this upcoming week. So I have a couple days already scheduled out here. Things that I already had was, look at these fantasy drafts. Like I already knew that these were going to be scheduled, okay? These are more my fun type things that I do for fun. So I have these labeled as purple, okay? Other things that I have scheduled, I have my weekly team meetings at 11 o'clock on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Those aren't changing. Luckily, I don't have accountability sessions this week, so I have a bunch of additional time in the mornings here on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I've already gone ahead and labeled some other things that I'll be working on in my flex time, my preparation time, my yellow stuff here. Okay, after brunch tomorrow morning, I'm going to be working on the listing team and buyer team meetings, okay? I've scheduled it out 10:30 to 1:30, and then if I click on this, I already have it set up. So look, 10:30 to 1:30, I have the address I'll be working on. I'll be working from the home office here. And then here, I'm looking at, okay, 10:30 to 12 is actually my listing team. I'm going to be training on follow-up boss. I'm going to put together training in that hour-and-a-half period. Luckily, part of it is leveraged, okay? Now, if I don't finish any of this activity, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and add it and move some other things in the rest of my schedule to make sure this is completed, because I have a due date of this of Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Well, technically 10:40 because I need it printed and I need to move to the other office. From 12 to 1:30, I have the buyer team meeting. We're going to be training on our technology called Real Scout. So I just have some notes in here, what I'm going to be doing. What's best practice is to add in your first step or first couple steps on how to accomplish a task. And you can do that right in your calendar. And this one, I just have a 30-minute notification in advance. Now, if I have specific appointments or I'm traveling or there could be a lot of things going on, I'm going to add in additional notifications so it'll tell me exactly when to leave. And if you have your address in, if you're not at that address, it'll also tell you based on how long it should take you to drive there when you should be leaving. So this is awesome if you have your addresses added into it. Okay, let's just check the time on how long we're going for about 10 minutes now. So this is my calendar. Now, if I need to start moving stuff, okay, let's say that like right now, this Ironman Zoom presentation or time management presentation has gone longer. Okay, we started a little bit late. Well, actually, we're doing a second round of it. I'm just going to drag this longer to 7:15 because I'm going to end it. So now it's going to overlap this fantasy draft. And now what I'm doing real time is I'm actually taking this and I'm moving it to 7:15. Okay, you guys see that? So hopefully in the next 9 minutes, I'm done with this and I can move to my fantasy draft prep. So that's it for the week. Now, here's what I'm doing. That's actually not it for the week. What I'm doing is I'm reviewing everything from last week. I added in the 25 new things that I've got to add for this week. So for example, additions to point structure, team lead strategy, team training on NOD appointments, team training, Real Scouts, HR guidelines, EDD, labor audits, etc. Okay, I've added these new tasks and I've added them with last week's stuff. Okay, so I have a total of 63 tasks. I'm going to schedule in everything that needs to be day specific and time specific, okay? And everything that's of very high importance, I'm going to add in right away. That's important and urgent, okay? I'm going to add those in. And then everything else, I'm going to start to add in, I'm going to start to fill in the gaps with everything else and via flex time. Now, if I'm ever in flex time and I've got 10 things that can be flexed at any given time, guess what I'm doing? I can add it as flex time, keep it pretty generalized, and then just refer back to my to-do list and start knocking some of these things out. But here's the other thing that's of importance. If I schedule an EDD labor audit for 30 minutes, well, guess what? I'm setting my timer on my phone and I'm giving myself 30 minutes to accomplish that task. Because otherwise what's going to happen is if I don't put a time limit on it, I'm going to end up naturally, everybody does this, we'll just fill that entire space with that one task. Your task will fill the amount of time allotted for it, okay? So if you give yourself a time in advance, even with a 10 to 20% buffer, you're more likely to finish a task in that period of time. So as you guys can see, I have this EDD labor audit here Tuesday at 3 p.m. from 3 to 3:30 p.m., okay? And then I have these HR guidelines right after checking the email from 3:30 to 4, from 4 to 4:30, the HR guidelines email should take me 30 minutes, okay? So I'm gonna do this for the rest of my tasks. I'm not gonna have to do it for the rest, I won't do it on this video, but that's how you would wanna build out your weeks and just review it, look for hopefully an 80% completion rate or higher, and I wish you guys the best. And let's see if I can figure out how to end this thing.